This quote is often attributed to Buddha. Once you feel you are avoided by someone, never disturb them again. At first, it sounds harsh, almost cold. It feels like advice about cutting people off, about ego, about walking away to protect pride. But that's not what this line is really pointing to. This quote doesn't speak to anger, it speaks to awareness, because psychologically, being avoided isn't just about rejection, it's about sensing a shift, shorter replies, delayed responses, energy that feels closed instead of open. Your brain notices these changes long before you consciously accept them. And here's the uncomfortable truth. When you keep reaching out after that shift, you're not chasing connection, you're chasing reassurance. Psychologically, this happens when uncertainty feels threatening. The mind tries to restore balance by seeking confirmation. If I just explain myself, if I message one more time, if I show them I care. But that impulse doesn't come from strength, it comes from anxiety. The nervous system doesn't like ambiguity, so it pushes you to act, not to connect, but to reduce discomfort. That's where this quote becomes important. Never disturb them again is not punishment, it's regulation. It's about recognizing that connection can't be forced without cost. When someone pulls away, continuing to push doesn't bring closeness, it creates imbalance. One person reaches, the other withdraws, and the more that gap grows, the more your self-respect erodes. Psychologically, this creates a dangerous loop. You begin to associate your worth with someone else's response. Your mood rises and falls based on replies, tone, timing. That's not attachment. That's nervous system dependency. This is where the deeper meaning of the quote lives. Stepping back is not about ego. It's about restoring symmetry. Healthy relationships require mutual movement, not pursuit, not withdrawal, but choice. When someone chooses distance, the most stable response is not to demand closeness, but to allow space. That space does two things. First, it protects your internal balance. You stop feeding anxiety with action. You stop negotiating for attention. Second, it reveals truth. If the connection was real, space doesn't destroy it. It clarifies it. And if it fades completely, then what you were holding on to was effort, not connection. Buddhist psychology places deep emphasis on non-attachment. Not because attachment is bad, but because clinging distorts perception. When you cling, you stop seeing what is and start fighting what isn't. This quote isn't telling you to disappear. It's telling you to observe. To notice when energy is no longer mutual. To respect signals instead of overriding them, to value inner stability over external validation. Walking away in silence is sometimes the most self-respecting response, not because the other person is wrong, not because you are superior, but because forcing presence when you are not welcomed turns connection into self-betrayal. So when you feel avoided, the real lesson isn't they don't care. The lesson is, I don't need to abandon myself to stay connected. And that shift, from chasing reassurance to protecting inner balance, is where peace actually begins.